Your laptop, you spill the water on your laptop, your knowledge base is gone?
Yeah. Well,
That's my laptop. Don't spill on that.
the nice thing is I've got multiple backups.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got,
Follow-up question then
Yeah.
is, and I know we're short on time, so maybe we connect afterwards.
Happy
Do
to.
you have plans to make these that are accessible online, semantically searchable, hybrid, keyworded, semantic search?
Yep.
All that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because right now everything is like, isolated in these different little directories, and I fire up different agents and stuff for it. I mean, I have an interface that is just a local web browser or a local web server that lets me kind of view some of the stuff, but I'm adding on to the UI aspect of it and definitely doing that. But yeah, my laptop is backed up to 3 different cloud places. Like there's cloud servers on Google, on AWS, and elsewhere. So if my laptop gets destroyed, it doesn't take much for me to recover. In fact, I've had that happen before, and that's why I have redundant backups.
So Andrew, and I know Jason's gonna take over and follow this up with how he's using it in a team.
Yep.
But do you see this as something that businesses with 30 employees or 300 employees or 3,000 employees ultimately could integrate into their systems with that many different people? Like how far away from?
I don't think we're that far from that at all. I really don't, because especially if you take it with the security mindset of just incrementally rolling stuff out and being careful about it. I mean, you're just kind of empowering everybody to do their jobs quicker, and if you've got internal proprietary systems, you can build those MCP servers to talk to them if they don't exist already. So I could totally see in a large team environment where everybody's skills are just amplified. It's not going to do. It's not going to do things necessarily for them entirely, but it's going to really do a lot of stuff, I guess, and just really just kind of amplify their work, and do it a lot faster. I could totally see that. Yep.
Okay, well, Andrew.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for all your questions.
How far over time did I go?
45 minutes. You're good.
45 minutes?
Yeah, about.
Man, I'm a motor mouth.
Yeah, but awesome job.
Oh,
First
thanks.
time, right? So I want to add a couple quick notes here as we you want to begin with the microphone and you can share that with us.
Yep.
Just briefly, I was going to say, Andrew was a developer. It started in the Claude code arena, and he's obviously been able to mesh those tools with his business processes to do what he likes today.
That's a little magnet.
But
I just put
I
it
would
on there
encourage
because
you
otherwise
to
it's...
also check out Cowork, which is what I was alluding to earlier in my slides, as a platform that is intermediate, a GUI layer on top of the kind of things he's talking about.
Yep.
So you don't have to be a developer like Andrew to be able to achieve some of the values and concepts that he's been talking about here. One other cautionary note I'll note in my own testing, those MCPs, that aggregation layer on top of the APIs that Anthropic built. So they have some official ones that are kind of, any web application you might use. He mentioned Teamwork for project management. Yep. I use that platform as well. They've got one designed that their team put together in protocol with Anthropic. But there's a lot of people out there that put together open source ones or ones you can find online, MCP that can connect and be that layer between your computer and those web services. So you have to be careful with some of those platforms because you don't know who built that.
Yeah.
You don't know where your data might be being sent. So as we start thinking about these extensions for any kind of agent-based system, we're seeing this also in the OpenClaw community, which is a whole other topic we'll probably do next time, is the OpenClaw platform. But we're seeing a lot of potential hackery happening. So as you're thinking about MCP, just because it says MCP does not mean anything unless it says published by Anthropic, then I would trust that one, in my own opinion. But the other thing that's interesting is you could, as we've talked about before in these sessions, these tools allow you to build the thing.
Yeah.
So I'm actually building my own MCPs for certain systems that I want to connect with using the tool, the same interface essentially as what I'm doing to actually then later do a business task. So just some thoughts on that add some layers to what you were saying about MCPs. So,
yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because Yeah, open source is great, but also open source means anybody, built it.
Yeah.
So you gotta kind of be careful what you install.
All right, let's get Jason up here for the next go.
And-
We do plan to go till about 5 o'clock. Sounds like we might be able to stay in the room a little long, so I'll keep you informed on the timing and.
This just works, I don't do anything with it.
Jason's up
Yeah.
next, and
Yeah,
then
it's
we're
all
going to
hands
get into. We will have some time for
It's got a
conversation.
camera in that.
Yeah, today as well.
Camera's
So,
got a microphone too, but this one would be better for picking you up.
Let me get this set up for Jason. You okay to use the
Good.
arrows? Yeah, there you go.
We good?
Arrows on there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So first of all, full disclosure, let me point out, I am brand new to this, and so I probably learned more from listening to Andrew speak than you will take away from anything I'm gonna have to offer. But, so we've been using this for a couple of weeks, and I'll just kind of share some of the story of how we got into it and kind of the experience we've had. This is all very focused, development centric. So Andrew, with all your extra automation and stuff, that's very interesting, and I got a lot of ideas to take back. So thank you for that.
Pick my brain anytime.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'd love to hear what other people are doing too. I'd like to learn, so.
Yeah, so my experience, so I'm Jason Wanis. I'm a founder of a company called Collective Data. Been doing that for about 27 years. And shortly before that, I knew I wanted to be a programmer, so I have a lot of experience doing software development, or say I'm just a studier of software development for pretty much my entire life, since probably about the age of 12. And obviously, I think you all probably understand the last couple months, I think everything shifted so fast that everything I knew to be true not that long ago is kind of wiped away, and it's a whole new paradigm. And so basically trying to reinvent the entire business model now at this point around Claude Code and other models. So that's where we're at. So what do I do here?
Arrow.
Got it. Yeah, so like I said, tech guy, software development all my life. All right, so real quick, is anybody here in development, or what kind is the, there's this, yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Software consulting.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna try to keep this pretty high level generic, but just, so basically, from our experience, the way the traditional development model would be is you identify your problem, what you're trying to solve, the new feature, that type of stuff. Then you just scour through documentation, do Google searches, get onto Stack Overflow, try to figure out how you're gonna solve this problem. And then you start iterating over code, debugging, reiterate, debug, reiterate, until finally you get something that works and hopefully makes the customer happy. And that's kind of been the model for quite some time. But obviously, as we all know, not to get into deep here, but as you all know, that's really shifted to, you identify the problem that you're trying to solve, and now you ask AI, and then it analyzes, it suggests or just does the work for you, and then you have to review the code. And that's probably the biggest challenge in a lot of what Andrew was saying, how important it is to review the code. And I am the opposite of you. I'll trust it. I see 5,000 lines of code written. Yes, let's push that in, send it out. Luckily, not everybody in my company is that way, so they'll take the time to review all the code and make sure that we're doing it right. But
Well, and I would say in your scenario, where, because you still write code and you're still a
Yes.
developer in the company, other people are doing the things that Andrew does behind you, right?
absolutely.
So you might push code, but it's not going straight to the customer.
That is so true, yes. And actually, just to get a little background, so we work a lot with governments. So like Cal Fire, for example, out in California, the fire department. So we help manage all their assets through our software. FBI, there are quite a few different high-profile clients that we work with that, absolutely, every line of code that we write has to be reviewed and pushed in. But take away that, I would just trust it and go, because especially lately, it's just too trusting almost to the point where it's that good. For me, that's been my experience. But yes, thank you, Greg, for clarifying. So anyway, got it. All right, so how we got started with this, and thinking back to when ChatGPT became a thing, kind of the same old story for most developers, right? You start copying code from your code base, put it into it. It reviews, might suggest stuff, find bugs, whatever. And I have to say, it was mind-blowing when I started playing around with this, and it kind of